What up? It's your boy, the Incredible Man, and yes, I'm back at it again. And this is New Amsterdam Season 2, Episode 8 discussion slash review, man. And it was wonderful. It was a wonderful episode, but this episode was more on the emotional heavy scale, if you get what I'm saying, because everything that transpired this episode was very emotional, whether we were dealing with the main cast or the cases that we had this episode. Everything was emotional, man. We had Bloom being scheduled for surgery. We had Max dealing with a patient that was having similarities to his own case. We had Iggy going behind his husband's back, setting up an adoption. We have Dr. Kapoor dealing with Ella possibly having an abortion to his grandchild. And we have Sharp being arrested and dealing with a patient that she ran out of pain medicine. She's taking heroin, and her kind of going back and forth with Dr. Castro. So there was a lot of, and Dr. Duke making mistakes this episode as well. So there was a lot of emotional stuff going on this episode, man, with the cast in the cases this episode. So let's dive right into it and start talking about it, man. So we have Dr. Bloom. Let's do Dr. Bloom. We have Dr. Bloom being scheduled for another surgery for her leg to hopefully so she can start to walk right again without the cane. And her mother was supposed to appear and be in her corner for the surgery, but her mother didn't show. And we, as fans, we know how her mother is so much from her telling us this, but we understand how her mother is. So she didn't really have anybody in her corner, and she went under the scalpel to have the surgery, but Reynolds was there in her corner, man. She didn't know it, and he told everyone not to tell that he was there, but he was in her corner backing her up, man, and that was absolutely wonderful. He even bought her Peter Luger's after her surgery, and I'm gonna be real, that steak looked good. That steak looked fantastic. Then we have, let's talk about Max, man, because that got real emotional, man. We have Max dealing with a case that bears similarities to his own personal case. The lady didn't die, but she lost her daughter, and she wasn't willing to let go or say even hello or anything in that capacity. And Max knows where that's coming from because he isn't willing to let go of Georgia. And I loved this episode because we finally got to see Max deal with his grief and tell Georgia goodbye, which was the absolute most wonderful part, man. Then we have Iggy. Oh boy, Iggy. Man. Iggy, Iggy's pretty much the shoulder for everyone to really just lean on if they really need something because he's a psychiatrist. But Iggy's going through some stuff this episode as well, man. I don't know what's the problem. I don't know why he feels like he need to adopt the other child. I mean, we see him talked about it in the past couple episodes, and we understand that he wants to do it, but he didn't talk to his husband about it, and that's a major thing, because at the end of this episode, we see his husband tell him, well, I got a call, and they tell me that we got a baby that we need to sign for and adopt. I didn't know nothing about this. And he told Iggy, yeah, it's fine. We don't have to talk about it, because you're not coming home tonight. So whatever Iggy is going through, we need somebody to be there to back up Iggy, the same way that Iggy is always there for everyone else. Then we have Dr. Kapoor working on a case with this family, and they have an adopted son, and he has a particular disease, SSPE, or something like that, but from him being taking vaccination shots. Vaccination shots. Oh, I'm so messed up. And it's one of those things that he's going to live with forever. But they finally end up treating him in the end of the episode. And Dr. Kapoor ends up reconnecting with Ella, and she tells him that she's not going to give up the child. She's going to have the baby. And that was a good thing, because we felt like Dr. Kapoor was going through some stuff, because we know he's on the in and outs with his own son, because his son is just a horrible person. Let's just be real. But then we have Sharp, man. Sharp, oh boy, okay. Sharp and Castro, they're constantly butting heads. And honestly, it was annoying at first because I felt like Castro didn't really have any ground to stand on. But the way she stood up for Sharp this episode, if she stood up for Sharp this episode, she could have sabotaged her, hoping she could get the whole oncology department. That's probably what she done. I don't know, but I feel like that's what she done. But what we saw is that she was standing up for Sharp, and if she did that, then I got your back, Castro, because Sharp ended up going to jail because she had a patient, which was very emotional again, that she has cancer and her cancer meds weren't strong enough and they ran out. So she started taking heroin to ease the pain. And I mean, I don't know, man. That I can't say either way, but still, that's something. It's like two different things. And she was doing it in like a crack house, and Sharp took her to like a safe haven place to do it with clean needles and everything. And somehow someone were taking pictures of her leaving the place, and the police came and arrested her because, you know, at the end of the day, they have drugs in this place. So she got arrested, and I'm hoping Castro was on her side. But what Sharp done for her patient, I agree 100%. This lady was struggling, and she probably would have died, or even worse, from using dirty needles from someone else and stuff. So Sharp took her somewhere safe so she can be clean and stable, and then she got her back to the hospital. It's so crazy, man. Then we have Dr. Duke promising Max's patient, yeah, you're going to be fine. You're totally great. And I'm with Dr. Reynolds. Dude, you can't make these kind of promises. This is day one stuff. You don't make promises at all. Dr. Duke, some days you see Dr. Duke and he's like, yeah, man, Dr. Duke is good. I can really see him sticking around. And then he makes simple mistakes like today, and you're like, well, dude, I don't know if you're qualified to really be a doctor. I don't know, man. But this episode overall, it was just very, very emotional, and the highlight of this episode for me was just having Max finally deal with his grief and move on. And I was so happy to see him do that, man. But that's everything that happened this episode. And like I constantly say, man, New Amsterdam brings the feels every time. And this is really incredible. Don't forget to smash that like button till you can't smash it anymore. Comment down below, and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them and subscribe. But only if you really want to, man. Peace out.